Hey everybody, I'm Tammy Kiefer. I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
And my name is Desiree Grimaldi. Welcome to Unguarded Minds podcast, where we talk about all the drama, trauma, and gritty things life throws at us. Today we have a special guest, Ashley Holmes. She is a holistic fertility coach who has a spiritual awakening and is able to conceive with ease naturally by embodying ancient wisdom and teaching that aligned mind, body, and spirit. So we'd like to welcome you. Thank you for being a guest with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're awesome. So I guess you're just going to have to explain to us what all of that means because I don't even really know where to begin. Just because in your statement it says that you're able to conceive with ease and doing that through this process. We know that a lot of women around the world struggle with conceiving, so I'm sure everybody is super interested in hearing more about it.
It definitely is a prevalent thing in society, unfortunately, and my own experience really led me to birth my business and to now help others because I once struggled to conceive and eventually did conceive twins using a clinic, but left with no answers from the doctors and unexplained infertility and thinking I couldn't conceive on my own, and landed on my yoga mat years later when my twins were small and discovered that there was a lot that I was not tapping into that is available to all of us and that could really be embodied and embraced, and really changed my life from that moment thereafter and allowed me to conceive miraculously and naturally, very easily and very quickly versus what I went through the first time around. And that is really what I offer, is not what the traditional medical world is offering alongside any of their treatments, is really just a holistic approach that really is nourishing for mind, body, and spirit.
Awesome.
I believe in that so much as well. As we were just kind of talking, I'm a yoga instructor and weave yoga techniques into my psychotherapy practice for people who want to do it. I just feel like you're right. There's so much more that you can tap into and that's available when those channels are opened.
Definitely.
So what is your process that helps identify women's imbalances or what that block may be for them, or can you kind of walk us through that?
Anyone who is experiencing infertility has a sacral chakra imbalance, because otherwise they wouldn't be experiencing infertility if that chakra was balanced, and this would be happening in an easy natural flow. So it's really working with the sacral chakra to heal your sacral chakra, for this to be an open, ready place to receive. It's working with your nervous system so that you're coming out of fight or flight mode into rest and digest mode, because that's the optimal place to be. And it's using the sister science to yoga, which is Ayurveda, to really nourish yourself optimally according to your inborn constitution. And this is ancient wisdom that has been around for a long time, and it's not a fad or a trend or anything like that. It really is something that is going to help you on your fertility journey and then thereafter, because you understand your body and the way that it works and what is optimal for it in a whole new way.
So I want to play devil's advocate real quick. Because listen, it's going to go online, so we're going to have people, coming from both sides. What about women who the doctors say medically, there's something medical there that is preventing you from conceiving? Would this process ultimately not work for them because it's not necessarily a chakra thing? It is an incapability
Biological or
biological something,
or maybe an injury,
I don't know if
or
biological, because everybody thinks they could have kids. So I don't know if biological is the right word, but if they're just not producing the egg, or something like that, or their cervix, they can't hold a pregnancy, so something more medical that the doctors are going to point to versus what you see.
I think that there is a place for medicine, and obviously there are things that the medical world deals with and can help open your tubes and things like that that may need intervention. But this is more the energetic side of it and the energetics behind it, and finding that within yourself and that place. And, there's so much that perhaps we haven't tuned into and tapped into in our own body. And also the wisdom behind what I've been taught is that we all sort of have a karma for this body, for this lifetime, for what we birth into this world. And it's really being in alignment with that and finding peace and acceptance for whatever is on your journey in that place and time now.
Awesome. I just wanted to clarify because I know somebody's going to ask and be like, well, medically and not that doesn't apply to everybody. So I just wanted to clarify and get it out of the way.
That's fair. I mean, can I guarantee anything for anybody? No, but neither can the medical world. So, I mean, every person is individual and unique, and every person I work with is given that opportunity to be met where they're at and to move from where they're at if it's a right fit for them. And it may not be the right fit for everybody. And there are people that I can refer them to, such as Ayurvedic doctors and people that can go a step further and beyond what I can offer.
Right. Awesome. So what is your process if someone were to call you and say, hey, I'm having a hard time conceiving, can you help me out? What is your process? How do you operate?
We really heal and work through and walk through what they've been through so far, because if they've experienced a lot of miscarriages or, they've had failed rounds of IVF, there is a lot of grief that coincides with that. And it's really important to heal from what you've been through sort of before continuing with full energy, effort, and exertion moving forward. So I think that oftentimes that's overlooked, and it's often seen as, okay, we're medically clear, but if everything isn't in harmony to go alongside of that, then it really isn't getting the best results for yourself.
And so does that look like talk therapy? Is it like a cognitive behavioral type method, or how do you tap into people's trauma and help them process and work through that to clear out those energy centers?
There's definitely a lot of modalities. There's yoga, there's EFT, there's Reiki, there's chakra balancing, there's Ayurveda, there is the cognitive behavioral therapy, and that identifying those things that are coming up for you and learning to reframe, what your natural patterns and habits are, and rewiring and reframing those for ones that serve you, and being conscious and aware of the thoughts that are running through your mind day in and day out, and what is coming up for you, what is showing up for you, when are you being triggered, what is triggering you. There's so many pieces to move through, whether it's holidays or whether it's, pregnancy announcements. There's so many things that are out there, and how can you move through that in the best way for you? Because oftentimes it is an emotional roller coaster ride, and if you're adding on medical drugs on top of it, it just amplifies that even more, and you're feeling things even more, and you're feeling even more out of balance.
Yeah. So do you work with a team, or do you provide all of those modalities?
I provide all of those myself, and if I feel that there's something else that would help them, then I have people that I can reach out to. But it's really meeting them where they're at first and seeing where they're at and what's going to be the best path forward for them. What are they experiencing and struggling with the most right now in this moment? And that might change from month to month, but it's really just focusing on growth and not so much the baby, because when we're always just focused on the baby, which is in the future, which is not in the present, it really doesn't allow us to bring that into our reality.
Yeah.
So besides helping and assisting them with aligning and unblocking and all of the things, what else does it, like going through those processes, what else does it improve in their life other than just conception? Because we see a lot of spas and a lot of people using the techniques that you had mentioned. So what are some of the additional benefits to them other than conception?
Really, there are only positive benefits. There are no side effects. You will feel like a better person in mind, body, and spirit from the minute you really start applying these practices and principles, because food starts to taste better, your energy is better, you sleep better, your vibrancy and your radiance, and you begin to glow from the inside out, which I think oftentimes the small things that we don't, pay much mind to actually really matter, and they really impact us on a day in and day out basis. So it's really shifting that locus of control from external to internal and letting go of all the things that we can't control, that are out of our hands, and really focusing on the things that we can, and finding that really just commitment and consistency to show up and to do these things for the benefit of our own well-being, which impacts the benefit of all of the children that we will have. And it just has a positive ripple effect, because to really create that fertile foundation within is really important to do from the get-go. And I really wish that women would find me earlier on their path to conceiving, versus once they are feeling exhausted and depleted and drained, right? And coming from that state in place. But often, we have to hit that low before we're like, what else is possible? This isn't working for me. This doesn't feel good in my mind, body, and spirit. And just having an open mindset of, what else can I do to help myself in this situation?
So ideally, they would come to you, whether they were having fertility issues or not, but come to you prior to conceiving and start this process, even just have a smooth pregnancy. And then it would benefit even further for somebody who was having fertility issues. For me, the side effect would be conception, because I'm done. But for everybody else who's still trying, then, ideally they would come to you before they even conceived. Correct?
Yes, ideally that would be ideal, because what you do now affects your egg quality 3 to 4 months from now. So especially if you're setting up for IVF, or that is in your future, to really be conscious and aware, and to actually be putting everything into it instead of thinking you are, and missing some really vital pieces of the puzzle. It's not just one thing. If it was just one thing and we only needed to do one thing, then it wouldn't be so prevalent, and it wouldn't be an issue that so many women are facing. But it's 1 in 6, and those are huge statistics. And so there is really a lot of assistance that can help you to move through that with a lot more clarity and ease and less stress, because it is stressful. But what are we doing with that stress? It's not just a bubble bath, unfortunately. I wish it was, but those things are nice and relaxing, but it's really going that step deeper and learning and connecting with yourself in a deeper way.
Definitely self-care all the way around, and I agree with I can just speak from yoga and meditation. I haven't ever done Reiki before, but I definitely feel that internal shift of okay, I've got to focus, I've got to dial it in, I've got to understand what I have control over, and what I can actually, my energy that I can put forward, what's actually going to work. I think it definitely helps with anxiety and stress management. So if you're talking about, how stress will kill you, but being able to channel that, what I have control over, what I don't have control over, and you're finding that with the people who you've worked with, that really helps with fertility and conception.
Definitely. And just having, the first time around, I was seeking, I'm like, I had a book. That's all I could find at that place in time. We didn't have everything at our fingertips and over a decade ago. But, I had a book, this fertility workbook, and it had EFT and it had body scans and all of the things in it, but I wasn't in a state and place to be able to do that for myself, to give that to myself, to understand how that would help me. And so I think it's really important to just have that support as well of like, no one struggling with infertility wants another to do, but just to have someone sort of walk you through and just be like, you can do this. If you're feeling this, then go to this. And to begin to become your own inner teacher of knowing yourself and this is what is showing up for me. This is how I can help myself, and not always needing to be externally guiding, but having that internal wisdom and guidance for yourself. That's really, truly empowering and really just life-changing.
So where was your stress level the first time that you were going through fertility, and it sounds like you went to a clinic? Where was your stress level that time versus where your stress level was the second time that you conceived?
Oh my goodness, on a scale of 1 to 10, I was probably a 20 the first time around, because there's so much extra pressure that we place upon ourselves and expectations, and not having any way to sort of manage those, and amplifying those with fertility drugs just really sort of escalated everything I was feeling. And the second time around, I didn't think that many of the things that I mentioned would be what I needed to help me. And so I would say the second time around, it was like a 3, a 3 out of 10.
Big
And
difference.
not realizing that slowing down and being mindful and that meditation and yoga would really be what my body was seeking, and I just didn't know it because we often live a very yang lifestyle, very fast, very busy. We don't understand and realize the significance of slowing down and listening to our bodies and tuning in and deciphering those messages and signals that it is always giving us.
Mm-hmm. Hard.
So do you,
You go.
help people, like, do people come to you in person? Do you do virtual? Do you do phone? Like, what's the way that you connect with people to start helping them?
Everything I offer is virtual, and so I can help people wherever they are in the world based on their time zone. And yes, I would love to get back to in person, but and when I birthed my business, it was a virtual world. And so it was like, yes, it's time to go online and to help people in a more impactful way with something that I know so many women are struggling with silently and not receiving the help that they need, because there is sort of a stigma and a taboo sort of silence that surrounds these issues. But there really need to be more conversations about them and more awareness.
Could you talk a little bit about more of the Ayurvedic aspect of it? Like, what does that look like, and what? Yeah.
We all have, Ayurveda is really the science of the mind and the body working in harmony. And so we all have 5 elements within us. We all have water, fire, earth, air, and space. And so it's knowing whether your dosha is vata, pitta, or kapha. And then using foods, breath work, yoga, all of the things that bring your body and your system into balance. And so for myself, I am Pitta, so that is fire and water. And so I was always drawn to hot yoga. I never thought I would give up doing hot yoga or teaching hot yoga, but that really put my body out of further balance than bringing it into harmony. And so it's really learning to work with your body in a different way, in a way that is best for it. And it doesn't mean that it's all or nothing, but it's knowing that if I was to eat spicy food, that's going to put my body out of balance. My body doesn't like that. I don't need more to add more fuel to the fire, so to speak. And so it's really understanding yourself in a different way and choosing the things that nourish you the best. And it's not just what we eat, but it's our environments and living more in rhythm and in season with life around us. So it's a holistic sort of lifestyle that serves you in the short term and the long term. And it's really one of those things that is just embodied, and you feel the changes so significantly and quickly versus the fads and trends that are the quick fixes that are out there. And it's, treating your body like the sacred vessel that it is so that it can be here and be healthy for a long time.
And I have one more question. How would you do, because Reiki, I understand that's a transfer of energy, I think, right? So how do you do that in a virtual sense? How does that work?
Well, energy can't be created or destroyed. So, they just need to be open to receive. And that's all that is needed, because it is just working with universal life force energy. And so it just helps to purify and cleanse and to just have sort of the reset when and if needed. And oftentimes I offer it, during the time of the month where they have received their period and they're sort of at their lowest and they just sort of want this fresh start, this fresh beginning, and to move from there.
Got it. I guess I have one more question after that. How long does someone typically work with you? Like, it's kind of a mind, body, spirit, so you're doing a lot of assessments, it sounds like, to find out what they need. How long would that period that they would work with you last?
So it is for 4 months, and then you can renew monthly thereafter if you're not pregnant yet, or if you are wanting to be seen through your first trimester, because depending on your experience, it's really just your comfort level. Like, when do you feel like you've embodied and applied this knowledge and you can use it moving forward, and that you've sort of got this and you understand yourself really at a soul level?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So would it be beneficial though, so the 4 months and then possibly through the first trimester? I mean, wouldn't it be beneficial for them to just stay with you through the whole term of their pregnancy and then even in the healing process after they have the baby?
That's completely up to them. And yes and no, because really once we are pregnant, we really just need to be just loving on ourselves, and you are encouraged to have whatever it is that you desire when you are pregnant. Nothing is sort of off the table, whereas we are more sort of focused on the conception phase and what suits you best. But once you're in that state and place, it's really just loving and caring for yourself. And a lot of the practices, such as restorative yoga, can be used after postpartum, say if you have a C-section, to heal and to recover. So they can be used, anything for your sacral that has been used for you to help conceive can also be used to help heal in a different way on the other side when your baby is here. As well as, I love to offer yoga nidra meditations. So those are like a yogic sleep. They work on all 5 layers of your body, and they're very healing and rejuvenating, and you can't do them wrong. And they are, for a sleep-deprived mom, they are the best pick-me-up, because 20 minutes of yoga nidra is equivalent to 4 hours of sleep. So when you have this new little one, it is a perfect way to just sort of pick yourself up. So it's really just sort of setting you and your lifestyle up for success in the long term.
I'd like to bottle that up. 20 minutes for 4 hours of sleep. That sounds amazing.
It is the best thing. It is really like my go-to starting place for someone who is like, I've tried meditation, I can't stick to a meditation process, or I think or feel like it needs to look a certain way in order for me to be successful. And it's a practice, and it's just learning to understand and to give yourself grace that just by showing up, just by tuning into your breath, just by being mindful, you are meditating.
Yeah.
I am definitely the oddball on this call because I can't do any of what you guys are talking about. I've tried
Oh,
yoga. My brain is like 10,000 things at a time. And I'm like, this is moving too slow. This is wasting so much time. I need that upbeat. I've tried.
that's perfect. I've challenges. Ashley has challenges for you. You're
And I'm
you're
sure
gonna
I'm
be
not
my
the only
project.
one. It's probably like the ADD brain, but they're like, breathe and do this. And I'm like, can we tell me the next 10 things I need to do so I can do them and be done?
There's definitely times when I've gone into a practice and Ashley, maybe you've seen this too when you've got, and I'll put on one video and it's more of a slower, I'm like, nope, that's not happening for me today. I need the vinyasa, I need the hard work, I need to sweat this out, I need to and then by the end of it it's like, okay, I'm exhausted and because you work so hard that then you can kind of let go. But no,
I
it's
worked with a company in Canada that they did like hip hop music yoga. And I was like, I could get behind that. I could do that. Like it was super upbeat. They mixed a little bit of weight in there but I was like, I've never been able to find one like that, but I could probably do that a lot better than some of the other yogas that I've tried.
I think they did
My
that
tip
too.
that I would say though is often, the pose we need the most or the thing that we need that is going to put us back into balance isn't the thing that we think that we need. So it's really just, you know, embracing that little bit of discomfort of maybe what I do need is to slow down. Maybe what I do need is not more doing, but a chance and an opportunity to just be. And for a lot of people, it is really hard to sort of shift that and move into that because it's not really the way our society and culture has ingrained in us and really values. And yet, I wouldn't say in general, as a society, we are necessarily healthy and doing the best for our mind, body, and spirit day in and day out. And I think that there's a lot that we need to really just own and take responsibility for of I am going to do something and I choose to do something for my mind, body, and spirit every single day. And that's going to help me be my best and feel like me.
And
I,
oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that, in doing what I do as a counselor, there's so many different ideas, and a lot of times I find that there's combinations of things that can work for people. So for people who do sit down, when you're talking about ADHD and ADD and just in your brain and just, rapid firing, meditation can be really, really tough. So I think that there's definitely a lot of combinations that are available and out there for people. And I think that what you're talking about absolutely can work. And sometimes it's a supplement.
Definitely. There's also, I feel, a form of yoga for everybody. And it's really knowing what age and stage of life you're sort of in or what your goals are in the moment of what really serves you best. If you're 20, you're probably after the strength and the flexibility and you have all this energy and zest for life and, you want to sweat it out in a 90-minute hot hatha yoga class, and then you could probably do 3. But, it's really just knowing yourself and knowing that there is like a wide array and a wide spectrum of availability and what works for us. And if we're injured, we may want to go more the therapeutic route of yoga to help heal, a certain aspect or part of our body that is causing us pain. And there really is so many ways to work with the body for whatever we're presently experiencing.
So, as we wrap up this episode of Unguarded Minds, I have a couple questions. One, what would be the best tip or practical techniques that you could share with the audience that can help them align their mind, body, and soul? Just like something that they could do right now that will help them get through their day.
To do something for your mind, body, and spirit every day. For your mind, either meditate or brain dump, at the beginning or the end of the day. Get those thoughts out of your head. And for your body, move your body in a way that you love, find something that you love. There's so many ways to move. Find what you love and incorporate that into your day. And for your spirit, what sparks your inner joy and makes you feel like you day in and day out, because we need to be connected and witness that within ourselves to be able to offer that out to other people. And I think those are really, really important. And it's not just one of them, it's like all of them, because we have all these aspects of ourselves.
And then how can people find you and what resources do you have? Because we'll link them all in the description, but if you want to tell us like your website or how they could contact you or anything that you have to offer to them.
You are welcome to join my Holistic Fertility Coach Facebook group, and it's a safe, sacred space to land in and receive many offerings from myself to help you in the moment, to ask questions, to not feel alone, because many women trying to conceive feel very alone and they maybe don't have that circle of support that they're seeking. As well as I have yin yoga classes, hatha classes, yoga nidra meditations available, and Reiki sessions that you can do, and my one-to-one coaching available on the health and wellness platform Vibly. So that's Vibly. And so if you are looking to embody and embrace your health and wellness on another level, you can try a lot of my classes for free and just have a lived experience, because I think that that is really what will direct you down this path even further, is sort of embodying it and embracing it for yourself.
Great.
So I sent you an email to remind you to make sure that you send us all the links for that so that we can make sure to include them for our audience below.
Okay, perfect. I will do that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. It's been wonderful having you on here, and it's definitely speaking to people about you're not alone. Reach out for help, get a support system, because it's something that's very, very stressful to go through. So we appreciate you being on here and getting the word out.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.